I've recovered from visual snow syndrome. My name's Fern Maniacs and I'm a psychotherapist who's been invited back to the Manchester Royal Eye Hospital to review my case. This is the final instalment of a 3-part video talking all about my journey today. So if you haven't already, do feel free to check out the previous 2 videos where I talk about my recovery, my journey, and I document some of the more physical side of the exams at the eye hospital. What really struck me after meeting with the neurologist was that he was completely open to the fact that the brains can change and that the way that we process visual information absolutely can change. I mean, I know that, I've been through that, but it was really nice hearing it coming from a doctor. When I was telling him about stress and how that exacerbates symptoms, he was like, yeah, of course. He was really nodding along to that and really agreeing that absolutely stress definitely heightens things. Anxiety as well, you know, the more that we're afraid of the symptoms, the more that this is going to be heightened. He was talking to me about visual processing and how actually brains can become hyper. Again, this is something that can change. He said to me, look, it sounds like from when we first met you to where you are today, your visual processing has changed so much, and that is what happens. The brain, it has neuroplasticity and it wants to change. A phrase that I heard him say a few times was, you've learned to control it, or you've learned to put it aside. And he said this over and over again. Something that he was saying to me was, you know, with time, the way that visual processing works is the more and more that we learn to control it, using his words, the less and less we notice it. That's exactly my experience of where I've got to today. What I found really interesting was that he was kind of asking me, look, is this still here now? And when I explained the progress of, well, no, not really, and only if I look for it, he said to me, it was like, yeah, I know what you mean. He said, if I look over there and if I look at the white wall, yeah, I can see static too. I can notice it. And again, it just feels like another example of a really important conversation around this is just a normal human experience that we do zoom in on and our brains do become hyper aware of. He was also asking me, well, what kind of therapy did you do to get to where you are? And I was explaining about exposure therapy, MCT, ACT, CBT of course, and he found that really interesting. And he was like, so not just generic therapy then? And I was kind of explaining the difference between, you know, going and just talking about how awful this is and your feelings is not the same. We need to do behavioural therapy. And he was just kind of typing away on his computer, which again I think is really cool, because what he said was, well, now that we've learned this from you and from your experience, we can then share this with other patients who come in. He often said, learn to put it aside, learn to control it. And I guess this is exactly what I've done and I now teach people to do. We need to learn to control our attention, learn to put it aside and focus mindfully on what we are doing. So there we go. I've been discharged from the hospital, absolutely fine, don't need to be seen again. And that's just such a wonderful place to be after everything that I've been through over the years. Brilliant hospital, wonderful hospital, really, really good neurology department. It's really cool that they knew about visual snow but also didn't put the frighteners on anything, and they saw it for what it is, which I think is really, really nice. I was also told that if there is anybody who comes in future and has similar complaints, that he will be able to share with them the stuff that's helped me. Here I go. Goodbye, Manchester. Oh, it's bright for once, sunny here in Manchester. Goodbye, Manchester Royal Eye Hospital, and what a positive experience too. I hope that me sharing a little bit about my journey today has been helpful. If anything, I hope that it gives a sense of hope that, look, we can be where I was at the start, and yet here I am now in a really positive place, discharged from the Royal Manchester Eye Hospital and just going on and living a full life. You can do it too.